Hello guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another tutorial. In today's video I'll be showing you guys how to cut and sew this stylish Milkmaid Bustier A-line gown. If it sounds good to you and it's something you're interested in, then please stay tuned. And if you're new to my channel, please don't forget to click on the subscribe button. Also share these videos to your friends and also give me a giant thumbs up. With that being said guys, let's get right into this video. The first thing that I'll be doing now is to cut our patterns on fabric, and the fabric of choice here is cotton fabric, and I have 3 yards of that for this project. So these are the patterns that we're going to be working with for this project. I already have a video of how I drafted this in my previous upload, so you can go ahead and watch that before coming to this video if you haven't seen it already. So I made little modification to this pattern. I upgraded it to a larger size pattern. The previous one that I uploaded was for a smaller size, and then I plotted this draft for a bigger size person, but it's still the same from the previous one that I uploaded, so don't fret, it's still the same, it's just a bigger size. So every other thing is the same, just little slight changes, 1 inch here, 2 inches there, but it's the same thing with what I uploaded the last time. It's just a bigger size pattern right now, so we are good to go. So I'm going to be cutting the lower part of this gown now, and I have this fabric folded like so. So I'll place the lower part of the pattern on this fabric, and then I'll be placing it like so. So this is the back. You can see the zipper allowance, so the center back. After making sure that I've placed the pattern properly on the fabric, I will go over to the hemline and I also add 1 inch for folding, and then I'll go to the side seam and also add 1 inch, and then I'll go to the upper part of the skirt and add half an inch so I can be able to stitch it to the upper bodies. So while cutting, I'm going to be leaving the allowances that I mentioned earlier, half an inch at the upper part, 1 inch at the side, and then 1 inch at the hemline like so. So after cutting, I'll just remove the pattern, and then I'll mark the wrong side so I can know the wrong side of the fabric, and then I'll open up that side, which happens to be the zipper allowance. I'll open it up so we can have 2 pieces for the back, for the center back. So I'll be folding this fabric once again because I want to cut the front part of the skirt. So I'll be bringing in the pattern right now, the skirt pattern, and then I'll be folding in the zipper allowance of 1 inch. I'll fold it because we don't need the zipper for the front skirt, and you know we are using this pattern to cut both front and back. That's why I'm folding in the zipper allowance. So after folding, I'll just place the remaining pattern on the fabric and I'll be cutting on fold as a whole. I hope you understand. And also while cutting, I'm going to be adding 1 inch at the hemline for folding. I will be adding half an inch at the upper part to join to the upper bodies, and then I'll also be adding 1 inch at the side seam, just like we did for the back skirt. Then I'll just go ahead and mark the wrong side and then put that away for now. So to cut the front upper bodies on fabric, I already added allowance to the hemline and also the side seam. So what I will do is that I will just place this pattern on fold like so. The fabric is on fold, this is center front. So, and then I'll be cutting and adding allowance to the upper part like so, and also the cup area, half an inch. I'll just eyeball it, and then I'll be adding to the armhole area as well. I won't be adding to the side seam and the hemline. The allowances are already on the pattern, that's why I'm not adding on fabric. It's already been accounted for. I hope you understand. So the next one that I'll be cutting will be the center back. So I already folded the fabric in two with the zipper allowance being indicated right there. And just like I did for the front pattern, I already went ahead to add allowance to the hemline and also the side seam of this back pattern. So therefore, I'm not going to be adding on the fabric because it's already been accounted for. So I'm just going to go ahead and add 0.5 inch to the upper part and also to the armhole like so, and then cut the rest of the fabric. So I'm just going to be marking the wrong side of this fabric and also opening up the zipper allowance at the side like so. So I'll be folding the fabric in two again so I can cut the cups for the upper bodies. So I'm just going to place that there to hold it in place, and then the upper part where I'm going to be passing the elastic, I'm going to be adding 1.5 inches extra for the folding of the fabric so we can pass the elastic into it. So that's just what I'm doing. Then after doing that, I'll just go ahead and cut the rest with half an inch stitching allowance, like so. So I'll just go ahead now and mark the wrong side of this cup, and then I'm going to be indicating an arrow at that part of the cup, which is the part where I labeled number 1, which is different from the other. The shape of the number 1 is quite different from the shape at the number 4. That's why I'm indicating it with pencil, because that area is going to be the one facing the center front or the middle of the bodies. So that's why I'm indicating that, so I can know when I'm sewing. So we are going to be ruching the upper part of the cups, and we'll be doing that by passing elastic through the upper part. So in order for me to know the length of the elastic, I'm going to be measuring this front pattern like so, and then I got 6.5 inches. So I'll be cutting elastic of 6.5 inches. So before I do that, I'm going to be folding the upper part of this with the 1.5 inches allowance that we left before. So I'll just go ahead and do that. So I already folded the upper part by the 1.5 inches allowance, and this is what we have. So I will be cutting two elastic bands of about 6.5 inches that I'll be passing through the upper part. So after cutting the two elastic bands, I'm just going to go ahead now and use safety pins to pass it along the upper part of the cups, and then I'll be running a stitch at the ends to hold the elastic in place. So I already went ahead to pass the elastic through the loophole or the opening at the upper part of this side of the cup, and you can also adjust the length of this elastic. If you feel like it's too loose, you can just pull one side of the elastic out to your desired length, and then you stitch it down to hold it in place. So I'm going to be showing you how I'm going to do the other side now. So I'm going to take a safety pin and I'm going to pin it into the elastic, and then I'll be running it through that opening at the upper part like so, little by little. You have to take your time and be really careful, and then I'll take a pin and hold that other side in place, a fancy pin or whatever pin you want to use. So I'll be able to pull this other side of the elastic out to the other opening. I hope you understand. So then I will adjust to my desired length, and then I will stitch the two ends of the upper cup to hold the elastic in place. Then after doing that, I'll just go ahead and cut off the extra elastic at the cup area like so. So for the front bodies, I already went ahead to cut a corresponding lining, and then because I want to turn it and make it neater inside, so I'm going to be placing right sides facing each other like so. I've already marked the wrong side of the lining so I don't get confused. So after placing it on top of each other, I'm going to go over to the upper part right there, and I'm going to be stitching it by half an inch, the allowance that we added at the upper part before, remember when we were cutting. So I'm going to be stitching that half an inch right now. So after stitching the upper part, this is what we are going to be having. The real fabric we are working with is the one on top, while the lining is beneath it. So guys, please don't get confused. So the next thing we are going to be doing is fixing our cups into their respective places. But before we do that, I'm going to be folding each cup in half, and then I'll be getting the midpoint, and then I'll be notching it at the bottom area at the midpoint before fixing them. Now to fix the cups, I'm going to be separating these two for now. I'm going to put the lining away for now, and then I'll work on the main fabric, which is that. So on the main fabric, I'm going to be eyeballing where I think the midpoint is going to be around that cup area like so. So I'm trying to fix the cups on the midpoint, directly on the midpoint like so, to make it aligned together. So to make your work a little bit easier, you can just stitch that side right there before you continue your sewing. You stitch it at the midpoint. So at the side seam, I'm going to be coming down half an inch before I start my sewing of the cups, while on the center front I'm going to be stitching directly after the sewing at the upper part that we did earlier. I hope you guys understand what I'm trying to say here. I know it can be very tricky, but if you look closely and you pay attention and watch what I'm doing, I'm sure you're going to get it. It's very simple. So I already went ahead to fix one side of the cup. As you can see, at the side seam I came down half an inch. As you can see, like I said before I started sewing, I came down half an inch, and then on the center front I started stitching immediately after the upper part joining. Now from that point, you measure about 4 inches downwards. You're going to be joining from that point the cup and the main fabric on a straight stitch. Now after the 4-inch mark, then you pleat or you gather at the lower part, and you repeat the same to the side front as well. So your pleat or your gathering are going to be at the lower part of the cup, while the side front and the center front you're going to be having straight stitch. I hope you understand. So I'll just go ahead and repeat the same process for the other side of the cup like so. I'll just measure down about 4 inches from the center front, and then I'll be placing the cup on that point right there, and I'll just join with a straight stitch before I gather or pleat the lower part. And then on the side front, I'm also going to be leaving about half an inch before I start my stitching, just like I did for the other side. Then I'll go ahead and pleat the lower part. So after I'm done joining the cups to the fabric, I'm going to be using the lining now to turn it over. So I'm going to, let me just show you what I'm going to do. This is the main fabric, right? So I'm going to be folding the one side of the cup. I'll fold it this way, and then I will turn over the lining, because I want to use the lining to cover up the rough endings. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. So I'm going to use the lining now to cover it up. I'll flip it to the other side, and then I'll just run a stitch to cover up everything, so that the rough edges will be inside, it will be hidden. So I'm just going to be flipping the lining over like so, and then I'll be using it to cover up the main fabric. So I'll be sewing along the shape of the cup like so. I'll just sew along, I'll follow the shape and then sew it and join it together to cover up the rough ending. So I'll do that and then I'll show you. So this is what we have after I'm done stitching one side of the cup. As you can see, all the rough endings are well hidden under the lining, and it looks neat like this. So I'm going to go over to the other side of the cup and repeat the same process, and I'll be right back. So this is what we have after I'm done stitching the other side of the cup. So the next thing that we're going to do now is to top stitch at the side seam to hold the material and the lining in place, and you also top stitch at the waist area to also hold the two materials in place. And after you're done doing that, I'm going to be taking the lower part of this dress, the skirt part, and I'm going to be aligning it to the waist area so I can join the two materials together. So I'll just place that, I'll place the two materials together like so, and then I'll be joining at the waist by half an inch of allowance that I left. And don't forget, you're going to be placing these materials right sides facing each other. Don't forget that. So I'll go ahead and do that, and I'll be right back. So this is what I have after joining the upper and the lower part of the front together. And at the wrong side, at the waist area, you can either use your serger to cover up the rough edges, or you can use bias to cover it up. Totally depends on what you want. So what I'll just go ahead to do now is to cut two facings for the back bodies. So I'm going to be cutting two pieces of material that is going to be acting as a lining or facing for the back. So I'll divide that into two for the two pieces for the back. So the next thing that I'll be doing now is to join the back bodies together. So I'll be taking one half of the lower back bodies, the skirt part, and I'll be taking one half of the upper part, and I'll be joining at the waist area, making sure they are aligned together and right sides are facing each other. And I'll go ahead and join at the waist by half an inch of allowance that I left before. I'll repeat the same for the other side, and then I'll be right back. This is what we have after joining the two halves of the back together. You can go ahead and use your serger to clean up that area, or you can use your bias. The next thing I'll do now is to place one half of the back on top of the other like so, making sure that they are aligned together properly, right sides facing each other. So you do that. Now from the half length joining, I'm going to be coming down by about 9 inches from where my zipper is going to end from the top. So after doing that, from the 9-inch mark, I'm going to be sewing all the way down to the hemline by the 1 inch of zipper allowance that we left before. So I'll go ahead and sew that all the way to the hemline. So after I went ahead to close down the 1 inch of zipper allowance from the 9 inch mark, this is what we are going to be having. You can see the lower part is closed, while we have the opening from the 9 inch mark straight to the upper part of the outfit. Now the next thing we are going to be doing is fixing the zipper into this opening. So this is the zipper that I'm going to be using for this project. Of course, you can also use an invisible zip, it doesn't really matter. So I'll just go ahead now and place this zipper on the 1 inch zipper allowance that was left on this fabric. I'll be using that to fix in the zipper. I will do that and then I'll be right back. So after fixing the zipper, this is what we are going to be having. You can see how neat and beautiful it looks already. This is the wrong side. So the next thing that we are going to be doing now is closing up that area, the upper part, and to make it neat. So I'll be taking the facing that we cut earlier. I'll be opening up the zipper and placing the facing on it, right sides facing each other like so. Then I'll be running an half an inch stitch to close it together on top like so, and also down the zipper area. Then I'll repeat the same for the other side. I'll do that and then I'll be right back. Now after I'm done doing that, this is what we are going to be having. I'm going to be cutting away the excess zipper like so. I'll just cut it off. We don't need it anymore. I've already closed the other part of the zipper, so we don't need this anymore. So after cutting this off, I'm going to be top stitching this lining or the facing so it stays in place. So I'll top stitch it so that it can stay in place. So I'll go ahead and do that for both sides. Just run a stitch along that area to top stitch and I'll be right back. Now after I'm done top stitching, I'm going to turn over the facing onto the right side of the fabric, and I'll be sewing at the side seam, and then towards the zipper area I will sew it down very close to the zipper. You just run a stitch down to close it at that end, and then I'll be repeating the same thing to the other side of the outfit. I'll be running a stitch along that zipper area very close to the zipper and also the side seam. So I'll do that and then I'll be right back. So after I'm done sewing the zipper allowance and the side seam with the facing on both sides, I'll be turning the fabric inside out so we can see what we have. So after turning it inside out, you see that the finishing is looking neat and professional. So that's the reason why we did what we did earlier, so we can have a nice and smooth finishing. So I just go ahead and close up the zipper. So the next thing that I'll do now is to bring the front bodies and place on the back bodies so we can join them at the side seams. So you go ahead and do that, and then you join at the side with the body measurements that you're working with. So that's just what I'm going to go ahead now and do. This is what I have after joining front and back together, and then towards the hem line I'm just going to be folding that with 1 inch, but that will be later, not now. And this is the back of the outfits, looking so fine. So the next thing we'll do now is to cut the sleeves. And for the sleeves, I just went ahead to cut two rectangles, or is it square, I'll call it. So because it's going to be a gathering sleeve, so I measured about 16 inches for the length of this material, and then I folded it at the left hand side. It's folded, so from the fold I measured about 15 inches from the fold outwards. That's what I'm marking right there, so that by the time I open up the sleeves, it's going to be 30 inches at the upper part. I hope you understand. And then I'll be coming down 1.5 inches from the top, where I'm going to be folding and adding my elastic band. So I'm going to be marking 1.5 from the top like so, where the elastic is going to sit at the top, and then the lower part as well I will mark where the elastic is going to sit. Then the total of this sleeve should be about 16 inches. Now you can do longer than that, depends on what you want. Now from the opening, from that edge, the opening, not the folded part of the sleeve, I'm going to be placing the outfit on top of it right now and tracing the armhole on the outfit. I'll just trace it and then cut it out. Then I'll go ahead and cut the excess fabric at the lower part of the sleeves. Now I just want to add something. I was supposed to fold the upper part first before cutting the sleeve shape, the armhole shape. So I went ahead to cut before folding. So after folding, I'm still going to recut the armhole shape later. So if you want to do yours, you fold first. After folding the 1.5 inches, then you now go ahead and trace the armhole. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. So I'm still going to reshape this armhole after closing, after folding 1.5 inches at the top for the elastic. I was supposed to do that before cutting, so I will do that after I'm done folding I hope you understand. Then on the lower part, I'm just going to eyeball how wide I want the lower part of the sleeve to be, and then I'll cut the excess and cut it towards the armhole like so. And guys, if you've made it so far in this video and you are not subscribed yet to the channel, what are you waiting for? Please click on the subscribe button and also give me a giant thumbs up for this video. Thank you. So I'll take one of the sleeves on the wrong side. I'll flip it to the wrong side, and then on the top part I'm going to be folding by 1.5 inches for the elastic to pass through. I will do that for the bottom part as well. I'll do it for the two sleeves, and after I'm done folding both top and bottom of the sleeves, I'm going to be folding them into so I can reshape the armhole for the sleeves. And in order for me to do that, I'm going to be placing the outfit on one of the sleeves like so, armhole to armhole, and then I'll be using the shape of the sleeve of the outfit to redraw the or to recut the shape of the sleeve. I will repeat the same process for the other sleeve. So in order for you to avoid all this that I'm doing, all this repetition, just make sure you fold your sleeve at the upper part before you draw the shape of the armhole or before you cut the shape of your armhole. Then for the elastic band, I cut about 10 or 11 inches for the upper part, and then for the lower part, I cut about 10 or 11 inches as well. That will pass through my upper arm, and then I'll just take safety pin and run the elastic through the opening at both the bottom and the top part of the sleeve. So you can also adjust the looseness or tightness of the elastic band on both ends. So you can just check the fitting first before you completely close the elastic at the ends of the sleeve. So I'm going to be doing that for both sleeves, and I'll be right back. So after fixing the elastic bands to both ends of the sleeves, I'm going to be turning it inside out onto the wrong side and then stitching the side seam with half an inch to close up the sleeves before we attach to the outfit. So along the side seam, I'm going to be running a stitch to close up the sleeves. So I'll do that to the other sleeve as well. So after fixing the sleeves, this is what we are going to have. So one thing I'd like to add is that I went ahead to readjust the elastic at the cup area because it was gaping and the elastic was kind of loose. So if you want to do yours, you make sure the elastic is pretty tight so it can be firm at the chest area. And then using rope for this style can also be very good because you'll be able to use the rope to adjust the tightness of the cup however you want. So I went ahead to just do the finishing touch and to adjust everything that needs to be adjusted. And after doing that, this is what we have. And this is the finished look of the outfit. The remaining thing to do is just to go ahead and fold in 1 inch for the hem line. I'll be doing that off camera. And on that note, guys, this brings us to the end of today's tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. Please, if you found this video helpful, give me a giant thumbs up and also share this video. If you are new to my channel, don't forget to click on the subscribe button, and also don't forget to turn on your notification bell to get notified of my latest videos. So till I see you in my next video, guys, bye.